My name is Sherlock Holmes. I've always been more of a thinker than a fighter.
The two aren't mutually exclusive. There's an art to fighting.
There's an art to war.
Sherlock Holmes is back for a new generation, and today I'm joined by the Australian's in-house Sherlock Holmes expert, who also happens to be our audience lead, Giselle Boetti. Giselle, who is that playing Sherlock Holmes?
That's hero Fiennes Tiffin. He comes from a pretty prominent family.
Yeah, of course, Ralph Fiennes, Joseph Fiennes. Ralph Fiennes played, most famously, of course, Voldemort in the Harry Potter series, and that's where Hero got his start too.
Yes, he played the young Tom Riddle, an 11-year-old.
A very chilling scene, I remember, when
Yes.
he encounters the magical world. He doesn't quite understand his own powers. He's absolutely terrifying, even at the age of 11.
Yes, he's got the sinister stare down pat, which I feel like he's going to use that in the new series.
And so what sort of Sherlock Holmes is he? Is he scary?
He's not necessarily scary. He's a bit mischievous, very charming. He's got that charm, the wit that Benedict Cumberbatch has. And he's also got the strength, the grit and the physicality of Robert Downey Jr.'s.
Yeah, those are some of the actors who've played Sherlock Holmes in the past. It's a much adapted character. Why are we still adapting Sherlock Holmes more than 100 years after he was created?
I think that people resonate with Sherlock because he uses his intelligence in chaos. Each of the versions we've seen of Sherlock reflects the time.
Yes, Benedict Cumberbatch played Sherlock Holmes a few years ago, probably in the most recent adaptation that I saw. And that was very much in the sort of shadow of the Afghanistan war. It was, pretty dark, gritty, modern London, wasn't it? What was Benedict Cumberbatch's adaptation like?
He showed us that the modern version of Sherlock, how Sherlock Holmes could survive in a technical era.
How fresh?
Just in. 67 natural causes. Used to work here. I knew him. He was nice.
Fine. We'll start with the riding crop.
So, bad day was it?
That is a very modern Sherlock Holmes, but he's pretty cold, isn't he? He's not giving a lot of warmth away.
Yeah, he has a lot of attitude. And also, he reintroduced Sherlock Holmes to a new generation of viewers.
His sidekick, Dr. Watson, was played by Martin Freeman, famous for, of course, the movie The Hobbit and millions of other productions, including Four Weddings and a Funeral. And his nemesis, Moriarty, was played by Andrew Scott,
Yes,
also known as the Hot Priest. He was terrifying.
Yeah, he did such a good job of the mind manipulation, that little crazy look in his eye, but also with still that wit and charm.
So they're talking about the violin and Sherlock's hobby, I guess, as another aspect of his genius. That harks back to one of the really earliest adaptations of Sherlock Holmes, doesn't it? Who was that?
Basil Rathbone. He played Sherlock in the 1930s and I think was in 14 films of Sherlock Holmes. He is the epitome of Sherlock. He made the deerstalker hat famous as well as the pipe, and he also had that gentleman charm of the old days.
I trust I don't come inopportunely.
My dear fellow, as if you ever could. Come on, pull up a chair. As a matter of fact, you're just in time to help me decide a matter which is certainly delicate and possibly...
Does the modern Sherlock Holmes in the new series play the violin?
Not that we've seen so far. He's more into fighting, like the Robert Downey Jr. version, but he's not there yet. Moriarty is currently better than him, but it's cool because you get to see the formation of where he learned to fight.
Yeah, so tell me, what are we learning about him? What's the setup?
So in the first episode, we see him at Oxford, where he meets James Moriarty, and they actually become friends.
And is Dr. Watson in there as a character, a young Dr.
Not
Watson?
yet, but we do see Colin Firth.
Some British acting royalty there.
Yes, it's a very stellar cast.
And it's a the ultimate English part, really, isn't it, with the Irish nemesis in Moriarty. Having Robert Downey Jr. play Sherlock Holmes was pretty a revolutionary choice. From memory, he did a pretty bad English accent.
Yes, yeah, he did. He was definitely a more rough version of Sherlock.
There's only one case that intrigues me at present. The curious case of Mrs. Hudson, the absentee landlady. I've been studying her comings and goings. They appear most sinister.
Tea, Mr. Holmes.
Is it poisoned, Nanny?
There's enough of that in you already.
Don't touch. Everything is in its proper place, as per usual. Nanny.
Oh, he's killed a dog. Again.
That was Jude Law alongside Robert Downey Jr. What a great pairing.
Yeah, very good chemistry.
Yeah. Is that your personal favourite?
Well, one of the things I love about this one is when he does the fight scenes, they like pull it out and you get to see him calculate every move, which is really interesting.
So young Sherlock is an origin story. It's where we start getting to know Sherlock Holmes, and he's going to acquire all those characteristics of grumpiness and disorganisation and maybe some neurodivergence that we've seen in future adaptations. Who is the person who hero Fiennes Tiffin makes out of Sherlock?
One of the things he mentioned in the interview was that he was nervous about playing with his uncle, Joseph Fiennes, and he thought he was doing a really good job, but then when he got to those scenes, he got really nervous and wasn't sure if he was second-guessing himself. And I think that's kind of reflected in the character that he plays.
Who does Joseph Fiennes play?
He plays his father.
It's funny to think of him having parents.
Yes, yeah. And it adds that extra layer, I suppose.
The series is created by Guy Ritchie, who really reinvented British cinema in the 1990s. He created a very distinctive, very kind of cool, action movie style, I guess, in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels and then Snatch. Also created a whole new generation of British stars. What's his influence on this series, do you think?
It's definitely action-packed. Hero did say that it does start to get a bit more serious and emotional. Guy Ritchie told Hero to keep the emotions under control and to lean more into like the theatrical side of it, so that when those big emotional scenes did come up, it hit you more, it was more jarring because you're not expecting it because it's been up here the whole time, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, this is really deep.
Yeah. Let's talk about the kind of emotional side of Sherlock Holmes. Is simultaneously as a character very perceptive, obviously, but also quite dense. He misses things that are happening right in front of him. That's an intriguing kind of character to play, isn't it, and to write.
So Jeremy Brett, who played Sherlock in the 1980s TV series, his version was a lot more psychological. It showed the complexity to his mind, and he almost has that depressive feel to it. He may be this really intelligent genius, but, he's got emotions too.
Audiences have, a huge appetite for mysteries. You're our audience lead here at The Australian, so you spend a lot of your time minutely analysing exactly what audiences are into. What do you see in their kind of interest in crime and as big kind of crime stories wash through the news cycle? What do you see the audience kind of leaning towards? And what do you think is behind that fascination that we have?
There's so much chaos in the world, and we're all just trying to make sense of that chaos and understand it a bit better. And especially the way that Sherlock makes sense of the chaos, of the confusion, at a time when, we're all a bit confused. It's nice to have someone to look to make us believe that we can kind of make sense of it all.
Who's your favourite ever Sherlock Holmes?
I did like Benedict Cumberbatch's version, just like a lot of millennials. He's just
Are you a Cumberbitch?
Yeah. Yeah. He's just got something about him,
Yeah.
But I also liked Johnny Lee Miller, who played Sherlock in Elementary, which was in 2019, I believe. It was a different, very, very different take. He was like a drug addict, tattoos everywhere. It played more on the psychological thriller part.
In a lot of the adaptations, particularly that Benedict Cumberbatch one, we've seen attempts to modernise Sherlock Holmes, bring him into the modern world. This is very much taking him back even before the Arthur Conan Doyle story, so seeing him as a teenager essentially in the 1860s and 1870s. That's an interesting choice for a show that really does need to connect with a new generation, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. I think that at the moment, younger people in particular were very emotionally vulnerable. Looking at Sherlock as a young person, he's very emotionally vulnerable, and he's not that character that knows the answer to everything. He will be one day, but he's getting there, and I think that's very reflective of young people at the moment. We get to see where Sherlock's traumas came from.
Giselle Bouetti, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.